Chapter 27, Gregory's Princess. You know, hurt is a funny thing. The same thing that makes one person angry can make another person grieve. Not so many years ago, a man held his own bundle wrapped in a towel. But the towel wasn't wrapped around a butcher knife. It swaddled a baby. "Take care of me, little princess," the man said faintly. "I can't no more." Sobbing, the man handed the baby over to a rough-looking pig farmer named Ned. "Oh, I will, don't worry," Ned promised as the man reached down to kiss and stroke the head of his little girl for the last time. The man took the baby in his arms again and gave her one more tremendous hug. "I'm sorry, sorry, so sorry," he said, weeping. To be truthful, the baby was not a sweet-looking baby, nor darling or dear of any of those other adjectives people use when cooing in unnaturally high-pitched voices. No, this baby was, to put it mildly, homely. It had a puffy, round face and a nose that could more accurately be called a snout. The man clutched his baby tightly, not wanting to let her go. When he finally handed her back to Ned, the towel fell away to reveal a heart-shaped birthmark on the baby's shoulder. Gregory always said that she had too much heart, and that's why they had to put some of it on the outside. But let's face it, it's hard to see something on your back. In fact, you can have a good heart and not even know it. Years passed, and the baby grew up. In a darkened hallway of the castle, the girl pulled up her shawl and covered her heart-shaped birthmark. Sitting atop that same shoulder, a rat whispered into the girl's ear. "You can do this." "You know you can," said Roscuro. "I know I can," she said. "She belongs in the dungeon, and you belong in the palace like a princess," he reminded her. "Like a princess," Miggery Sow repeated. P was sitting at her window wishing for rain to pour down from the dark, dismal sky when from somewhere behind her came a soft rustling. P hardly cared who it was or what they wanted, but she turned away anyway. The princess wasn't expecting the servant girl, and she certainly wasn't expecting Mig to be carrying a bundle of rope and so many odd-looking tools. "What are you doing?" P asked. Mig hesitated. "Cleaning, ma'am." Roscuro rolled his eyes. "With rope?" P asked. "Helps, ma'am." "Well, stop it. You look ridiculous." "Sorry, ma'am," said Mig, unable to hear P's soft voice. "I said," P said louder, "you look ridiculous." Mig's ruddy cheeks whitened. P's words had reached Mig's damaged ears loud and clear. In fact, they seemed to arrive in slow motion, each syllable perfectly enunciated. 3 stabs to Miggery Sow's heart. "You look ridiculous." Mig dropped the tool. She stared at the princess. Her face began to change colors. First pink, then grapefruit, then finally a deep red crimson. Mig began to shake. Squeezing the rope tight in her hand, Mig closed in on the princess. Miggery Sow used every inch of rope. She wrapped and wrapped and wrapped until Princess P was one large coil. While the rest of the castle slept, the servant girl pressed a butcher knife to the princess's back and forced her down the stairs into the foul black dungeon. "You can't do this, Mig," said P, trembling. "Gore," said Mig. "Seems I am, ma'am." "You'll get in a terrible amount of trouble," P said. "Don't listen," Roscuro whispered from inside Mig's collar. "You're the princess now." "I'm the princess now," repeated Mig. "And you belong in the palace." "And I belong in the palace," Mig said. "And she belongs in," Roscuro said, looking around the darkness. "Yes, she belongs right here," he thought. Mig dragged P to a cell deep within the dungeon. Behind the cell's bolted door, a lamp shone on the 2 figures. The golden-haired P wrapped from head to toe in rope, and the dull servant girl holding a butcher knife. One was a princess, and one was not. P looked around at her new home. "No!" she screamed. "You can't do this! Help! Help! Someone help me!" "Tell her it's no use," Roscura said to Mig. "No one can hear her." "Help! Help!" cried P. "It's no use, ma'am. No one can hear you." Ah, but someone could.